Hey guys, what seems like fucking forever is a new episode.
Yeah, it is. We got a lot to talk about. It's a rather large patch, 12.14, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But one of the first things I wanted to do was to thank all of you that came by the giveaway stream. We had a blast, and congratulations to the winners, by the way. I don't know how Aslor won twice, but congratulations on that one, dude.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Dom trolling us at the beginning.
Oh God. I'm trying to go through the footage and like just supercut some funny moments.
Some highlights,
but
yeah.
Our buddy, who we didn't know what his Twitch username was, so we thought it was some random viewer, got in the chat, won the first prize. First prize ended up being the most expensive one, which was $35 RP. And then it turns out it's our buddy, like we know in real life.
It was pretty troll, but it was pretty funny. I gotta say, it was.
Some might say it's rigged, but it wasn't.
Right. Haters will say it was rigged.
But yeah, thank you guys. It was a lot of fun. And on top of that, it kind of inspired me to stream a little bit more. That was like a 7-hour stream on Saturday, but I've been playing a lot of TFT. I'm slowly getting better at that. So I'm usually streaming. I've been streaming every day since then. So if you guys are interested in hanging out, it's twitch.tv/accordingtoloelopod.
Yep.
It's linked everywhere in our link tree. Join our Discord,
It is actually everywhere, though.
But yeah, sorry again for the lack of content last week. There was not a lot going on, and we were kind of... We threw the giveaway stream together at the last moment, and we just didn't feel like it was worth to record a couple things that weren't going to be that impressive. So apologies. Right. I promise you we're back on track. So yeah, really quick before we do the patch notes, we want to go all the way back to episodes 74 and 75. Now 74 was patch 12.13, and our Q&A was, I remember this one, Yi was changed and busted. Are you going to be permabanning Master Yi? 100% said yes, and I believe he is still our permaban.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely, and we had asked you guys how you guys feel about the adjustment or changes, more or less, for Gwen and Sivir, and we got a nice response from Mayo. He did say, "I'm glad for both of these changes. Gwen has definitely been tearing through pro, and Sivir is basically non-existent. What we've learned from." That was July 13th. What we've learned since then is that Sivir is fucking disgusting.
Yeah, she's strong.
Yeah, she's really strong. That champion is... I'm not seeing anybody play it, which is crazy. I'm not seeing too many people play it, but that champion feels just absolutely busted. I mean, she's getting a nerf on this patch, and we'll get to that in a minute, but I don't know why nobody was playing her. She was disgusting.
She did get the hotfix, too, so...
That's true.
I can't remember exactly what the fuck it was, but yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for that. And then moving on to episode 75, which was the hotfix. Remember, this was a day after Neela came out and Master Yi was, so they hotfixed a bunch of champions. Our poll for that was, who is the better ban? And, we took Master Yi, who you guys said was 100%. Master Yi or Neela, and 75% still said Master Yi. Neela, I feel like, has been nerfed into the fucking ground already.
Yeah, I haven't seen that champion in a Summoner's Rift game. I've only seen her in ARAM games, and she can be gross, but I think I said before, she's like a flanking champion. You need to be able to move around the fight and weave in and out and whatnot for her to be useful. And with them nerfing her pretty much on the ground, it's a lot more difficult to play the champion. I haven't looked at her win rates or anything lately, and we're not going to do that today.
No.
But I wouldn't be surprised if she was maybe sub 50 or close, because I feel like it takes some skill to play her for sure.
Agreed. All right. So let's get the ad out of the way nice and early, and then we'll jump into 12.14.
Yes, because we got a big one in front of us. So hit that ad button. Whatever that means.
All right. Here we go. 12.14. So let's take a look at the nice highlights here. We've got actually a fair amount of adjustments.
We got a lot of adjustment. Yeah, actually, we do have a lot of Jesus.
Notice most Gangplank, because a lot of people have been talking about this champion, And to be fair, he is the only changes I've looked at. I don't really know a lot of the other stuff that's coming out. I have looked at the Gangplank changes. And then a lot of sustain stuff. You're going to see potions getting nerfed. You're going to see just... We'll get to it. Buffs. Oh, your girl Renata getting nerfed.
I know. Well, it's funny, too. I'm looking at these nerfs, and they're all targeted towards pro, but then there's other ones that are targeted for every level of gameplay. Mm-hmm. But, like, Gnar and Zeri are pro, and, God, we're going to have to try to understand another Zeri nerf. Wonderful. It's weird that they show the nerfs and what they're targeted towards, but the buffs don't have any targets or anything like that, so that's interesting. Oh yeah, you also got the new set of Star Guardians skins coming out. Those are going to be cool, and the Star Nemesis Morgana looks pretty sick.
It does.
Tons of item changes, a lot of Drake changes. So I guess let's just get into it, because we got a lot ahead of us.
Yeah, this is also like a patch to... We always talk about how the durability patch has been... This is like literally recombating the durability patch. You're gonna see a lot of this. Okay, so let's start with Atrox. Health growth increased. Eep healing passive decreased late. Our bonus healing decreased late. Okay, so again, we're healing a little too much.
Right.
I've been seeing a lot of Atrox building Eclipse over Gore Drinker.
Dude, he's not just building Eclipse, he's building full ADC builds and just one-shotting people.
He's building crit?
Building the high damage, so not the bruiser damage items, but the damage carry items, like maybe like a fighter, like a Yasuo. But Atrox is supposed to be more of a bruiser, not a fighter, so it's pretty gross. I mean, when you see him building... Oh, I did see him building IE in one game with Eclipse. He built Shield Bow, and it was just disgusting. He was just one-shotting fools all over the place, and there was nothing you could do to him.
Weird, that sounds like a terrible build, but...
It sounds terrible until he just eats your asshole, and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
So let's see. Health growth is actually going up from 104 to 114. Mm-hmm. Passive healing on his E is going from 8 to 26%. Now it is 18 to 26. Now it is 18 to 24.
Okay.
And then increased healing during World Ender is going from 25 to 55. Now it is 25 to 45. That's a pretty big chunk. Because remember, like when you're in R, the E healing just disappears. Or it's increased. Okay, yeah, it's on top of that. Or no, it's all sources. I don't fucking know what World Ender. He just heals a fuck ton more. I think it's just all sources. He heals for so much more.
Yeah, it's disgusting, and we saw it in action in the LCS this weekend. TSM had who was it that was playing Atrox? They had him totally cornered, and then all of a sudden he just turned a 4v1 into Atrox's abilities. It was pretty disgusting, actually.
All right, let's move on down.
Oh, we got the cow up next, Alistar. This is one I didn't expect to see on this list. The Q mana cost decrease at all ranks, and the cooldown decrease at all ranks. That's actually pretty good, because no one's playing him in non-pro play, because cooldowns are too damn long, and you could just play an Enchanter. Here's a champion that does well into Enchanters, because he forces the engage upon you, and he's pretty hard to disengage from with all of his other abilities.
Yeah.
So for them to give him a little nudge might be trying to change the Enchanter meta. So I kind of like seeing this. Exactly the changes here. His mana cost was 65 to 85 on the Q. It's now going to be 55 to 75. And he's going to drop 1 second at all ranks on the cooldown. It was 15 to 11, is now 14 to 10. I don't know that 1 second helps too much, but I can tell they're not trying to shove him to the front of the line as a support pick, so they're just trying to nudge him up a little bit. We'll see how that plays out.
Can I ask for one more suggestion?
Sure.
Can we change his fucking Q icon? It literally looks like a penis. Rand tells me that. I see it. I know it's his fist, like slamming the ground, right? That's what it is. But, guys, I'm zooming in. If you're on YouTube, it literally looks like a penis.
I never thought it looked like a penis, but it doesn't look like a hoof. And he's a fucking bull cow thing. Like, why is it just not a hoof? But, alright. Yeah, change the icon. I'm down with that.
Alrighty, moving on to Gangplank. This one's interesting. Base health. Okay, I'm just gonna go through his stats because there's actually a fair amount of shit that's going on with him.
Yeah, there is.
Base stats. Base health is dropping by 40, 640 to now 600. Health growth is increasing from 104 to 114. And then base armor is dropping by 4, 35 to 31. Passive now scales with crit chance.
Jesus.
200% critical strike chance. So it's
Good
double.
Lord. Back to IE builds, huh?
Yeah, so I know they're kind of combat. This is confusing me because obviously, okay, one, he hasn't been building Sunderer. Every pro game you see, it's back to Trinity Force.
Yep.
You don't see the Dustblade that often anymore, so I guess Trinity Force, gives you HP. I guess you can call it a bruiser item, sure. So yeah, now they are giving you the incentive. The base numbers are the same, but they're just adding 200% critical strike chance. So they want you to build a crit. Q.
To think about that, does that? So they're weakening his early game,
yes,
because like the little blurb just says he's gliding through early game too easily, and he shouldn't be. So I wonder if that makes, with the change to just the passive without looking at anything else, I wonder if that makes Shield Bow a viable option on GP.
So let me get through the rest of this,
Okay.
and I agree, because that's one of the things I was going to talk about or mention. Q damage is getting lowered. It's going to be dropped early by 10, but it's going to get increased by 10 late. So it is 20 to 120. Now it is 10 to 130.
Oh.
Again, just all the items, and we'll get to the item nerfs too, or the like potion changes, because that's going to affect him big time too.
Right.
Here we go. This is the big one though. Powder Keg, slow amount. The base numbers are changing from 40 to 80% slow to 30 to 60% slow, but with a new scaling with crit chance, 0.25 per 1% crit chance at all ranks. So if you build Trinity Force as your mythic, and then your boots, and then 4 crit items, you're just going to be back at 80.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the same. So this is what I was talking about. If you build Shield Bow, you're going to get another... you're going to get a 5% slow, I think is what the math is.
Oh, okay.
Right? So you get a little bit more of a slow. Because it's per... Every crit item is 20% crit, and then a quarter is 5. So you could potentially get more, but you're going to need to build... And I think Shield Bow would be the only viable crit mythic. The best one.
I think that's also just the passive itself on Shield
HP
Bow, I think is important. The shield, yeah, because that eliminates the need for Sterix Gauge, right? So you can build something else, because I think it's a lifeline passive, right?
I don't think I've seen Sterix Gauge on GP in a very long time.
Well, I think part of that's because it's been too easy to coast through that you don't need that, because you're able to keep some range. But back before they changed him, Sterix Gauge was a popular item just for the buff and the Omnivamp
and stuff,
and the shield and the extra health and everything like that came from it, and the extra damage that came from it. Obviously that build went away, but you're kind of mocking that up back with the Shield Bow style build, right? You're going to get the damage from the crit that they just added on. So they're basically saying, hey, if you build Shield Bow, you kind of get Sterix Gauge as well. So that's kind of the way I see it, that's kind of a similar, like a tit-for-tat little change. But obviously that's a little bit more situational too, because it depends on the rest of your build. It's not just one item. But I don't know. I kind of like the change. Like they said, he's been skating through early game pretty easily, at least in pro play. So it'll be interesting to see in a few weeks when the pros get on this patch what they end up doing with him. I think this is the finals patch, right? Or the playoffs patch?
Maybe?
For LCS, I think it is.
I'll have to look that up. But
yeah,
finish with the E. So that was his slow amount. The bonus physical damage is dropping by 5 early, but it is getting increased by 15 late. So it's going from 80 to 180. Now it is 75 to 195. But then the E bonus damage on crit is getting lowered from 25% to 10%. So it's not... Fair. It's a little bit less, because, there was a weird... Oh, his barrels are so fucking weird when it comes to critting. They'll, crit for different amounts, and it's not consistent.
That
It's
is
a
weird.
weird interaction. But yeah, I think Shield Bow. I still think Grasp of the Undying is probably going to be the best keystone.
Right. He
Just
doesn't
for
really.
the,
He's not going to use the attack speed, or he's not going to use the lethal tempo, or the
if anything,
Not going to use anything. Yeah.
Fleet would be the
Right.
best, but
And that
but
tree. But
Grasp is just so. I mean, you're healing, you're stacking HP, and then that
Right.
tree is just
it's good
again,
for weak champions.
yeah. Again, they're nerfing. We'll get to it, but
Yes.
this champion in but wasn't a few patches ago. It was probably earlier this year where they buffed his W, and the mana cost wasn't crazy anymore. So he literally can just sit there and eat oranges and stay in lane for as fucking long as.
Yeah.
I know he's a very strong champion. Should not be. Yeah, again, should not be quote unquote how they say skating through lane, because it's. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're a melee champion against this dude, good fucking luck. Like
He should struggle similarly like Kale. Is the best way to put it. Like we all know once Kale hits level 16, the game's pretty much over, and you should probably lose that game if you're on the opposite side, or you should win that game if you are the Kale. GP should be in somewhat of a similar boat. I mean, obviously he's not gonna be quite as hard a carry as Kale, but that's because his early game isn't quite as weak and his late game isn't quite as strong. He should be a little bit more of a middle ground between an all-around champion and a hyperscaler like Kale, or a hyper carry like Kale. But he should have the ability to one-shot people when it comes up, just not on quite a the same basis as Kale, right? Because Kale, once she gets late game, she's just blowing everybody up. GP is going to have the opportunity with the powder keg, but outside of that, he's probably not going to blow you up instantly. He's going to have to 1v1 you to do that,
I think it's just I don't know.
He's got my point. He's got a different play style than Kale, so he should have. It should be kind of similar. I get it, but that means his early game should also be weak like hers.
I think Kale's not even a champion until level 6. GP is a champion,
Right.
at least.
Right.
And then plus,
Right.
I mean, when you hit level 6, the global ulti is just way more impactful. But
Yeah.
all right, that's enough about Bumplank. Let's move on down to Gnar.
Cool. Old Narskis. A base health decrease, health regen, growth decreased. Just pretty simple. Mini Gnar is too freaking strong, so they're going to drop his base health by 40 from 580 to 540, and his health regeneration growth was 1.75, so they go down to 1.25. Not much else to say there. He's obviously being played a lot, so they're just trying to bring him down a little bit.
All right, Janna.
Janna, this was what started my climb this year, and I haven't played too much of her since, only in the case when Renata's banned, so this kind of makes me sad.
It's an adjustment, so it's not too bad.
Right.
Shield amount is getting increased from 65 to 165 now to 75 to 175, so we get nice 10 extra base stats on the shield, and then the bonus heal and shield power from when you CC or slow someone goes dropping from 20% to 15%. And then her Monsoon, the healing is the base is going up, and also the AP ratio. So it's going from 90 to 200 with a 45% AP scaling. And then it's only getting increased early for the base. So it's going to 100 to 200, but with a 50% AP scaling.
Okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
That's actually pretty good overall, I think.
that's not terrible. Not at all.
Oh, Jarvan's next. This one's really
J4, huh? Okay, the Q80 scaling increase. The E cooldown now decreases with rank. Okay, so the Q Dragon Strike. The damage was 90 to 250 with a 120% bonus AD ratio. It's going to keep the 90 to 250 base, but it's going to add an extra 20% to your bonus AD ratio, making it 140%. So that's pretty good because that does incentivize you, hey, build damage, don't just be a pseudo tank.
This screams just lethality Jarvan.
Yep. Dustblade Jarvan which was pretty gross, or Prowler's Claw Jarvan. Actually
I still think
too.
Eclipse is just so good because it gives you a shield, movement speed, and like
Right. Although Eclipse,
Omnivamp?
they drop the damage on Eclipse so much. But you're right. That's not a terrible. I mean, all three of those options are pretty viable. Just depends on, I think, on the game state too. And then the E, the cooldown was 12 seconds at all ranks. It's now 12 to 10. So it'll allow you to QE a little bit more often. It'll allow you to buff your team a little bit more often as well. So that's interesting. Next up on the list is Kayn.
Kayn. I think this is just for red Kayn too. Oh, I guess base stat.
Yeah.
Okay. So base stats, health growth is getting increased from 90 to 109. And then the passive for red Kayn is changing. The healing is going down. It is going from 25 to 35%. Now it is 20 to 30. And that's of damage dealt to champion. So the healing is a little bit less.
Okay. That's good because, yeah, red Kayn's been running all over the friggin' place.
Alrighty. LeBlanc.
The booty hole. Base mana and mana growth increased. W base damage increased late. So base stats here. Her base mana was 334. It's going to go up to 400. And her mana growth was 50. It's going to go up to 55. So that's actually pretty good for her because she's a pretty mana intensive champ. The W Distortion, the base damage looks like it's going up late. So it was 75 to start. It's going to keep at 75 to start. It did go up to 215. It's now going to go up to 235 at max level. And it's going to keep the 60% AP ratio. Not a big difference, but again, like we've talked about some of these durability reverts, this is a durability counter directly. So keep an eye out for LeBlanc, although I don't know if she's still going to be viable quite yet, unless you're playing with someone who's really good at the champion.
Nocturne, passive adjusted. Minion damage. No longer deals 50% reduced damage against minions that are the primary target. Note, will do 50% reduced damage to all other minions damaged by Nocturne's passives. Because of course, he does a cleave with his passives up. So the main target is not going to take reduced damage, but everything around him will.
Okay. That's pretty good. Pantheon.
Ooh, okay, I did see this one. This one is big.
Q damage to monsters increase. So it sounds like they're trying to make him a jangler. So, it says, despite recent efforts to strengthen Pantheon in solo lanes, despite that, he hasn't been able to pick up much traction. Given that we're in a slower low-kill meta, we're reverting the changes made in patch 11.3 to help Pantheon make a grand starfall/re-entrance into the jungle and help spice up the early game. Wonderful. So they're adding the 105% damage to monsters on his spear. Okay, so they're just saying, all right, well, no one's playing this champion because his early game's wrecked. So yeah, here you go.
That's putting a lot back into his queue.
Oh, I'm stoked on these Renata changes. They're not that bad.
All right.
You want me to go over them, or you want to go over them?
It's not much. They're just lowering base stats.
Yes.
Which might not seem that much, but I mean, she's going to be a little bit squishier, so she can possibly get blown up a little bit easier.
50 base health is actually kind of a lot. I don't know about 2 base AD. She already doesn't do shit for damage, so I don't know that 2 base AD is really going to hurt her, but 50 base health is a lot, especially at the beginning of the game.
I know, she could have gotten a lot worse.
Oh, absolutely. I'm surprised they didn't do much, but I think they don't want to just throw her into the ground. I think they like her playstyle. I think they really like what she does with her ulti, and I'm fucking stoked about that. Thank you, Riot. Tell me about Seraphine.
All right. W shield and heal AP scaling decrease. So it sounds like, just reading that, is they don't want you to build AP. Let's see. Shield base is staying the same, but the AP scaling is dropping by 10. So it's 50 to 130. It used to have a 35% AP scaling. It is now going to 25% AP scaling. And then the heal per ally, again, the base is staying the same, 5 to 7%, but the percentage is going from 0.6 per 100 AP to 0.4 per 100 AP of missing health. So yeah, it's just, I think she's still viable, just you don't, there's no point in building AP on her because you're not going to get that much out of it.
Right, and I think this change, along with the Renata changes that aren't too big, or in tandem with the item changes that are also coming on this patch that we'll get to. And so when we get to those, we'll take a peek and see how those stack up into creating an overall bigger nerf for these Enchanter type champions. Same thing with Janna as well. I know we said, yeah, it's not a big difference, but I haven't looked at the items, and I'm assuming there's probably some bigger nerfs there that affect them, which is why they're just tapping these champions down a little bit. Sivir, again with a change. Q bug fix, and W damage to minions decreased, now executes minions below a certain threshold. Well, that's pretty cool. There's also a good thing about that, too, is her blade won't bounce as much, I guess. It'll just bounce to different targets. So, let's see. The cast time bug fix on her boomerang, it was... Yeah, I don't get it. Literally wrote the same thing twice. Oh, no. It was 0.25 to 0.18 seconds, scaling down with her attack speed. It's now 0.25 to 0.1. I hate that they put the strike through on an 8 because it literally just looks like a 0 to me. The ricochet, the damage to minions was 80%. It's going down to 65%, but they execute. Minions that would be left at less than 15 health. So not a big execute, but it helps. I mean, definitely helps her farm. But it does bring down the damage on her wave clear significantly. So tell me about old Teemo, everyone's favorite champion.
Mana growth increased, R range increased early, AP scaling increased, mana cost now scales down with rank. Now, I see a lot of Teemos doing like the on hit, press the attack, and I think this is, if you're playing Teemo and you're not building AP, this is like gonna seem pretty troll.
Yeah.
Or you'll be trolling if you don't do that. Base stats, mana growth going up from 20 to 25. R, the shrooms placement range going from 40 to 900. Now it is 600 to 900. So 200 extra range throwing those. And, you know, we know that 50 units is one Teemo.
Yep.
So that's an extra 4 Teemos you're getting.
Pretty big.
That's a lot. 200 units is a lot. Damage, base is staying the same from 200 to 450, but the AP ratio is going up from 50 to 55%.
An extra 5%.
And then mana cost, this one's pretty big too.
Wow.
70. It used to be 75 mana at all ranks. Now it's scaling down 75 to 35 mana. You're gonna be shitting out those shrooms.
Yeah, you are. You're back to that old meme from the old map when the top side was literally just coated in shrooms, so no jungler could go up there and live. Yeah, I don't know that makes Teemo viable, but I guess people that like playing Teemo will play him more. I don't know. Let's move on to Varus. He's more interesting. He's getting a base AD increase from 59 to 62. No one's playing Varus right now. He's being pushed out for... I don't even know what other... I guess Jin's a pretty popular one. And I've always felt like Varus plays well into Jhin, considering he can kind of match range with Jhin. You know, Jhin likes to use his W to stun and then run up on you, and I always felt like Varus could match that range. Even as not a caster, you know, even if you just build regular attack speed Varus. So I think that this should help him a little bit early on. I mean, 3 base AD is not a ton, but he does have 62 base AD, which I think is a little bit higher than most. So that's a thing. Give me the next guy.
Base health regeneration increased. Passive health regeneration per stack decreased. So base stats. Base health regeneration is going from 2.5. Now it is 3.5 per 5 seconds. But the Stone Skin passive health regen per stack is getting lowered from 0.5% to 0.35. So it's kind of... I think it's a nerf overall. I guess it would depend. Health regen per sec. So you'd have to take, what, 0.35 of 3.5? Is that how I do the math? Well, it's per 5 seconds.
Per stack. Yeah, I guess.
It's a lot of number. I don't know.
That's his other... I mean, any other health regen item as well, too, right? Any sort of...
I was just trying to think of, like, if it's, like, level 1.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's going from half to 0.35. It's gonna hurt him a little bit in the jungle, but I don't think it's too bad.
No, I don't think it's awful at all. Yumi, AP scaling decreased. Didn't they just buff this? Or they did something to her E, I feel like. Either way, she's gonna keep the same base 70 to 150, but lose 5% because 5% is everything. On her AP ratios from 35 to 30%. That does probably not hurt too bad considering she doesn't build a shit ton of AP. So she builds typically utility items, but we'll see what happens with those items in just a minute. We got to get through Zeri first, see if we can understand this one. Go for it, dude.
Q passive adjusted, our bonus magic damage decreased. Q burst fire, new, right clicks, executes enemies with health under 60 to 150 scaling, levels 1 through 18, plus 18% AP. Note, damage to shields or invulnerabilities does not proc this execute. Okay, so we're gonna be able to execute. So this doesn't This doesn't say if your right click, which is the little charge zap, doesn't say if that needs to be charged all the way. But let's see. Uncharged Zeri right click attacks no longer increase damage to minions below a certain health threshold.
Okay.
So explain that to me and everybody.
Yeah, Let me explain that to you. I don't fucking know.
Uncharged Zeri's right clicks no longer does increase damage to enemies below a certain threshold. But I don't understand. This is not increasing damage below. That's so confusing.
Zeri's abilities, because
Zeri's abilities,
I don't think I know them enough. There's fucking 18 sentences in each ability, which is part of the fucking problem. Is like you have to memorize all of that shit. Let's see. I don't.
Is this just telling me it's gonna be able to? She's gonna be able to wave clear a little bit better and get right clicks on minions, but the damage to champions is not.
Okay, let's see. So the Q says Zeri fires a burst of 7 rounds in the target direction that each deal physical damage to the first enemy hit. Burst fires projectiles treated as a basic attack. It hits it, and any enemy unit a typical basic attack can. Deals basic damage, can crit for 75% bonus damage, and applies on hit and on attack effects at 100% effectiveness to the first enemy hit. Burst fire's cooldown and cast time are reduced with basic attack speed with a maximum of 1.5 attacks per second, 60% of attack speed in excess of the cap converted to bonus damage. Okay. Now, basic attack, because I think that's what this is actually talking about, is her passive, right?
Yeah, it's not the Q. It's the right when you right click.
Right. It's dumb that they add it to the Q here, but I just want to make sure. So her uncharged right click. Okay. While not at full charge, Zeri's attacks consume 10 charge to deal 10 to 25 based on level, plus 3% AP magic damage. If the target is below 60 to 150 health, plus 18% AP health base. Jesus Christ, let me try that again. If the target
You're reading
below,
what I just read. It's because the patch updated.
Right, but oh fuck, you're right, it did.
Yeah, right clicks execute enemies with health under 60 to 150. Now, does that mean champions? Or is enemies just minions?
I think it's just minions.
Okay, and then uncharged Zeri right clicks no longer does increase damage. So you have to. So it's saying it has to be fully charged to get that execute damage.
Yes.
Uncharged Zeri's right no longer does increase damage to enemies below a certain. Okay, so you have to. You cannot just. So that sounds like it's a nerf all overall.
Right, I think it's supposed to be.
So you can't just freely use your right click to like farm minions. It's not going to do that damage if it's okay, whatever. We spent way too much time on this.
I know it's her whole kit is just so goddamn fucking confusing. Someone
made a post on Reddit and it's like I think Zeri's been changed every patch since he's been released.
I think so.
Or like at least like I don't know how many. What are we on 14? She had to be like 7 or 8 times. I don't know when she came out. She came out in the beginning of the year. It's kind of dumb. And then finally, the lightning crash. Her alt bonus magic damage is getting lowered from 10 to 20 base. Now it is 5 to 15, and the AP scaling is staying the same at 15%. All right.
Okay.
Let's get it on. Items.
Yep. Items. Here we go. All right. Gangplank Chainsword. The combined cost is going to go up. So if you guys remember recently, I think 12.11, they brought the price of this item down And in LCS, Spica first bought it because it's so cheap and efficient, and actually annihilated somebody while playing it with Xin Zhao.
Was it always? I think it was always that price, but they just buffed all the stats on it.
No, I thought they lowered the cost.
It says, let's take a look. Keep going.
Yeah. So the combined cost before was 300. They're now upping it to 500 gold, and the total cost is going to go up by 200 from 26 to 2800.
Yeah, they buffed the stats.
Okay, they buffed the stats for the price. Yeah. Okay, so they're increasing the price. I mean, it's always been an incredibly cheap item with decent stats to make it gold efficient, and still people don't buy it. So yeah, now people are buying it. They're gonna up the price by 200 gold, which isn't a huge nerf to an item. This is an item that should be on the cheaper side of legendaries. So. Good to know. And all that efficiency, the craziest thing is all that efficiency was calculated without the grievous wounds effects. So it made it incredibly gold efficient, which the ipso facto makes the item broken, more or less. All right, talking about the Enchanter items. Looks like it's a system-wide.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to everything. So Forbidden Idol, heal and shield power is getting lowered from 10% to 8%. Ardent Sensor, healed and shield power, same thing, 10 to 8%. Mikhail's Blessing, which I never see anyone build, is going from 20% to 16% for the healed and shield power. Redemption, same thing, getting lowered from 20 to 16% healed and shield. Staff of Flowing Water, what'd you know, 10 to 8% on heal and shielding. And then the Moonstone Renewer, max stacks, is getting lowered from 5 to 4. So again, that is a nerf. Yeah, healing and shielding is...
it's pretty gnarly. It's pretty insanely strong.
Yeah, it's getting hit. This on top of Janna, obviously this is hitting Janna pretty hard too.
Double dipping, and Renata as well. She's one that uses shields, and depending on what build you're playing, I know that her Shirelia's build has been her highest win rate as of late, but I still prefer her tank build. So if you're playing her tank build, she's relatively the same. If you're playing her Shirelia's build, you might need to rethink some of the items you're buying and trade them out. Maybe you go between the tank and the Enchanter, the full Enchanter build. Personally, I like her tank build just because I feel like she needs the durability. She needs to be able to stay alive so she can cast the bailout and cast the ult, and be the target that the team wants to go for, so that your other carries can actually do stuff. Janna is as a just opposition. Janna is not the target that the enemy team goes for if they want to do stuff, but champions like Soraka are. Renata is one of those champions. Like, hey, if you guys want to have a good fight, you need to wipe Renata off the map or make her blow her abilities on herself and then take everybody else out. That's it for Enchanter items. The next one on the list is Sunfire. I don't know if they call it Aegis, Aegis. I just go with Aegis because I know the AE is supposed to be an E, but I don't know. This item looks like is starting to emerge as a powerful second item for DPS champions. Fighters have dipped into tank items before. This item obviously is way too fucking strong for fighters, so they're adjusting the damage output as more strongly tied to health stacking. So the immolate damage was 12 to 30 based on level, plus 1% bonus health. It's now going to be 15 plus 1.75% bonus health. So if you're playing a champion that builds health, great. This item's probably not really going to change for you. If you're building a champion that doesn't build a whole lot of health, then I'm sorry, but you just got F'd in the B.
I don't know. I think that's going to be pretty significant to tanks. 0.75, it's almost doubled.
Right, but you're losing the damage by half, the max damage by half.
Well, I mean, you potentially could make that up if you have that much HP. Imagine a Cho'Gath.
Possibly. I mean, yeah, Cho'Gath or like a Shmundo who just stacks health. Even though that champion's
so yeah, they're just, I mean,
tank.
We're seeing like Diana in fucking, like, I've seen the Master Yi's build.
Yeah.
Second item, you know, they build their Nashers or Bork and then into Sunfire.
It's pretty gross.
Yeah, it's no bueno. Moving on to potions. So I'll cover, let's see, potions. Health potions getting nerfed. It is going from 150 health, now it is 120. Refillables, 125 to 100. Corrupting potion, 125 to 100. Again, corrupting potion, that's hitting GP.
Yeah.
Mainly, that's the only one I can really think of that use. I guess a lot of mid laners they dip into whatchamacallit, tree.
They like to take biscuits, and they also like to take corrupting potion for some of those mid laners that are mana intensive, just because it gives them a mana refill nice and quickly and faster than a ring, and a lot of those champions are also early base champions too, that can make use of a couple basic items. So they just use it, spam it, get their poke in. Like champions like Ahri, she could spam it, get her poke in, and she could base early and get a damage item to try to snowball. So that's definitely going to hurt some of them, for sure.
And then, Biscuit Delivery health and mana restoration is going from 10% missing health and mana. Now it is 8% missing health and mana. And then the increase it gives you is dropping. The mana is going from 50 mana to 40 mana.
I always forget that biscuits actually give you max mana. It's pretty gross. It's just like a forgettable part of it. But I mean, 150 mana to 120 mana, when you use them all, that's not a huge nerf. Just a little nerf. So that's good. Bone plating cooldown's going up from 45 to 55 seconds. That's not bad. That's probably a good thing, because that's actually a pretty good rune. To stop 3 hits, although it falls off pretty quickly. You just won't have it back quite as fast. Conditioning's getting a nice little nerf here. Not a big nerf, just a little bit. The base stat increase, it used to give you 9 armor and MR. It's now only going to give you 8. And you used to get 4% to total armor and MR. It's now going to be 3%. So just a small little nerf here. Again, guys, these are runes. They're not designed to really be a big boost of power in this area. They're just supposed to tip you over the edge a little bit. So they're tipping you back the other way. And last in the... Oh, no, it's not last in the green tree. What the hell?
I don't know why they're like...
They started off, in a certain tree, and then they went
alphabetical.
Back to alphabetical. I don't know, it's weird. I'll hit all the green trees and we'll go back. Guardian cooldown was 70 to 40 seconds based on level. They're increasing it early, 90 to 40 seconds. I have seen Guardian used a lot more than Aftershock in the bot lane, for sure. And I know they're wanting to hit enchanters, so I think that's why they're targeting this ability. And then the last one in the green tree is Second Wind, and this one was to regenerate 6 plus 4% of missing health over 10 seconds. It's now going to be 3 plus 4% of missing health over 10 seconds after being damaged by an enemy champion. Wait, there's one more green tree. I lied. There's unflinching in here as well. A tenacity change. It was 10 to 30% based on missing health. So that's your bonus slow resist and a tenacity. It's going to go down to 5 to 25% based on missing health.
Righty. Next, Scorch is getting increased from 15 to 35 based on level. Now it is 20 to 40. Literally 5 damage is not going to do shit.
I hate that fucking rune anyways, so.
Sudden impact, lethality, and magic pen going up. It is going from 7 lethality, now it is 9 lethality, and 6 magic penetration, now it is 7 magic penetration. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a rune that's not used that often right now.
I mean, I don't know why, considering every fucking champion can fly around the map with dashes.
8,000 dashes, and not enough people using sudden impact.
Time Warp Tonic, bonus move speed while under the effect of a potion or biscuit is going from 4% to 2%.
That's a pretty big nerf, like cutting that down in half. That's pretty nuts.
So that is it for the items, the potions and runes. Summoner spells
are next. Challenging Smite. This is the one that most junglers have been using just because of the damage. And a little bit of buff that it gives you as well. It's kind of like a mini exhaust and a mini ignite, right? The smite target damage reduction was 20%. It's going to go down to 10%. So that's a pretty big difference. And then, of course, they're hitting exhaust as well. The damage reduction dropping by 5%. So from 40 to 35%. So you can see they are trying to counteract the durability. But I'm okay with that if you're putting it in the summer spells, because those haven't been touched in a while anyways. And if you're gonna make everybody tankier and then still keep that high damage reduction, I don't think that's helpful. So these are actually welcome changes in my opinion.
Alrighty, systems. Here we go. Dragons. So this one,
buckle up, buckaroo.
I'm hyped on this one because a lot of people, and again, I guess this is just mainly for pro, because pro players aren't just going for dragons early. Like, they can sack a couple early, but then once it gets later, you can figure out, oh, we don't want to give them soul. So, and this is a little troll because it says drakes and it shows an infernal picture, which is a little, right? But this is all dragons. Yes. Percent current health damage on attacks is getting lowered from 7% to 5%. Health pre-rift transformation. So this is the first two dragons. The health is going from 2,650 with a 240 per level scaling. Now it is going to be 3,450 plus a 380 per level HP scaling.
Wow.
So much more health, but lower damage. And then post rift transformation, base is going from 435.50 with 240 per level. Now it is 6,950 plus 380 per level. So yeah, those post rift changes are going to be fucking just a lot of HP. That's a lot.
Yeah, they are. That's a big tanky dragon.
All right, you want to hit up Cloud Drake? It's probably the best one.
Cloud Drake. All right. So the attack damage on Cloud Drake was 50. It's going down to 35. So like Dean said, they're weakening the dragon's damage. The Cloud Drake Dragon Slayer buff. So if you kill the dragon and add it to your buffs list, it was 3.5% slow resistant out of combat movement speed. It's now 7% slow resistant out of combat movement speed. They're doubling this shit.
That's nuts.
They're doubling it. That's fucking crazy.
7%
out of combat.
Combat.
If you're running Celerity, that shit's fucking nasty. Cloud Soul Dragon Slayer buff. If you collect the soul, you used to get 10% bonus movement speed and 50% bonus movement speed for 6 seconds after casting your ultimate. Now you're getting 15% bonus movement speed and 50% after casting your ultimate. So you're getting an extra 5% on the bonus move speed. Couple that if you have the other two.
Yeah.
Before you claim it, you're looking at like adding percentages is fucking stupid. But you're probably looking at something around 20 total percent if I had to guess of bonus movement speed.
Imagine if the team is just coming back and gets 4 clouds in a row.
Oh my god.
And so I mean, do you multiply it like that? So if you get 4, it's 28.
I don't think it necessarily works like that.
Well, it works off what
weird, but...
right. It works off whatever your movement speed is.
Right.
But still, that's
it's nutty.
That's a lot. You're gonna be zooming across the map. Hextech Drake attack damage is going from 66.7 now it is 47.
Okay,
that was like 20.
That's a big difference.
And then the buff, this is not the soul, this is just a normal buff, is going from 6% attack speed and ability haste. 6 ability haste, now it is 9% attack speed and 9 ability haste. So that's a nice little bump, 3.
I don't like this change, and the reason I don't like this change is because I feel like, again, I'm going to harken back to the durability, but this is less about durability and more about power creep. It's like they pulled a lot of power out of the game, and now they're just like finding nooks and crannies to shove power back into, and that's kind of annoying. I like Hextech Drake, and I like the passive that he gives you, but it just seems really fucking silly to sit here and be like, hey, we did all this durability stuff, but fuck it, just attack a lot faster and have some, be able to cast more spells, whatever.
I mean, this is just solely for pro, because no one's going for these objectives.
Right.
So they got to make it a little bit more worth.
In our games, it's going to be fucked up. All right, let's move down to Infernal Drake. Infernal Drake does a lot of damage. He did, or she did, 100 damage, but it's going to be 70 now. Excuse me. And the buff you're going to get from the Infernal Drake was 4% AD and AP. It's now 6% bonus AD and AP. Sorry, I meant to say bonus. They were both bonus, but you're getting an extra 2% bonus AP and AD, which means that's more damage for everybody, including your tanks.
Let's see. couple left. Mountain Drake. Attack damage going from 150 to 105. And then the bonus resistances going from 6%. Now it is 9%. So think about what they did to conditioning.
Yep.
So this is going to counteract that and do a little bit more. So
Which it should, because this is a more, this is going to sound punny, a more conditional Drake. Like, it's not going to come up as often. Where conditioning, you can choose any game you want. Mountain Drake may not pop up in every game, so it's okay to be, in my opinion, to be stronger than the rune.
Then I'll do the, let's see, Ocean Drake. Attack damage going from 100 to 70. And then the passive you get from slaying it is going from 2% missing health per 5 seconds. Now it is 3% missing health per 5 seconds. So not that much on that one. It's probably the worst one that got the buff. But, I mean, you're still take it, right?
Right.
Get chunked out in lane, you get a little extra healing.
Yeah, and I could see why they're tepid to increase this one too much, because that's what they're trying to get rid of, is that sustain. So, lastly, on the dragons, you got Elder Dragon. They are getting a health buff. So they're keeping the same base health of 6,400, but it used to get 180 health per minute. It's not going to be 290 health per minute. So again, a tanky boy. It could open the door for possible steals. So yeah, it should be interesting.
Rift Herald. Rift Herald now has 75% more health when summoned with Eye of the Herald for the second time. So
yes, because no one goes for second in pro.
Right. There's no point. I mean, plates are gone.
Right.
But 75% more HP. I mean, it's gonna fucking ram its head into more turrets.
Obliteration. Yeah.
That's big. And then this one's cool too. Rift Herald now grants 200 local gold to the team that killed it. Love it. Give me more. They're gonna incentivizing
these objectives.
You're not only you gonna get the buff, you're gonna get. It's kind of like how Old Dragon was, where it gives you just flat gold.
Yep. All right. That's
Spellbook?
it for most of the game stuff. What I did like here in the behavioral systems, you'll now be able to see which teammates honored you if you hover over the honor icon in the end of game screen. Right? Why has it taken 10 years to figure that shit out?
Mythic content, nothing too crazy coming in. They are having a Mythic Chroma for Star Guardian Jinx. And I don't know if I like the Mythic Chroma. I feel like that's a fucking scam.
Right.
Like, why 40 Mythic Essence? I don't know. I have a lot, but I don't know.
It's not as scammy as Dink Doink, though, so that's okay.
Yeah. Let's see. I know, and then we're into bug fixes.
Oh, wait, did you go over what's leaving the shop, too?
Oh,
sorry. KDA Evelyn, Prestige KDA Evelyn, Prestige Pulsefire Lucian, and Final Boss Vagar, Mythic Chroma, and Icon are leaving the shop. So say goodbye to those. We don't know when or if those will ever come back. Depends how long the game lasts and how many skins come out.
I don't care. I'm just ready for that Prestige Cinder skin. That one looks so fucking
It does
good.
look sick. It does look sick.
There was 2 bug fixes I heard or saw on Reddit. Where is it? There was a Scion one.
Yeah, the Scion bug fix bundle.
Yeah.
It's next one
there's one
players to sharply turn the direction. What?
That. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's ridiculous. Like, this guy would be flying down and then like you step to the side to dodge it. The Scion can immediately turn around and hit you.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that one's been in the game for a very long time.
Fix the bug where Scion's basic attacks would sometimes automatically cancel on combat. His Q would prematurely end its charge if it was cast immediately after E. Fix the bug where W would not be castable immediately after completing Q. And fix the bug where Scion could animation cancel his ulti into Q combo that made the stun duration of point blank ultimates longer than intended.
The very first bug fix, challenges are here introduction tooltip has been removed. There have been so many times where I've logged in and it's just randomly there. I'm like, I fucking know.
Thank you.
I think that's it. Again, second batch of Star Guardian skins.
Jarvan's tooltip was updated because it was wrong on his W. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything else that's obvious. You know what? It's not in here. Ezreal's invisible ultimate.
Yeah,
I wonder if they even know about that. I would assume they
they
do.
have to know about that.
That's such a broken thing, the invisible ultimate. So okay. Oh, it fixed the bug where Eclipse's damage tracker was not working correctly. Maybe that's why I was thinking it had such low damage, because I've only ever seen it add like 5 damage per pop. Like, it should be adding more than 5 damage. So that could be a thing, too. When are they ever going to fix Viego's bug and let his items actually stay? But that's the one thing I hate about that champion, is you can't quite tell how efficient you're building by looking at your item stats, right? Because every time you take over another body, you lose those stats. And that shouldn't happen. They just recode it for Viego. That doesn't happen. That can't be that difficult, can it?
Apparently. Any ideas or any suggestions for poll question?
Yeah. First off, I want to know if you guys think enchanters are still going to be viable, or if you think these changes were enough. Um, Me having played enchanters pretty much all season, I don't think there's a big difference here, but I'm curious to see what everybody else thinks, because from the top of the patch notes and their blurb, that was their big thing, was like, oh, we're gonna nerf enchanters, and I'm not seeing that that's gonna be too big of a problem, but there's always someone to prove me wrong. I'd be curious to know what you guys think about that. And as far as a poll goes, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good poll question.
No, we don't need a poll necessarily, so.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it. We'll be back tomorrow.
Oh, you know what? I actually do have a good poll question, because I just want to add this a little bit. I'm sorry, guys, to throw this in here. Do any of you actually give a shit about Star Guardian? This event, everyone like pretty universally hated Sentinels, and I gave more of a shit about Sentinels than I do this Japanese dating simulator.
I mean, so are you talking about like the skins overall, or just the event
the event
style? Okay,
the event.
So yeah, skins are fine. Just do you guys like these quote unquote dating simulator interactive? Yeah. I don't know. They knocked it out of the park with Spirit Blossom years ago, but
dude, that was so good, and that's why I thought Sentinels was gonna be good. Sentinels was okay. It was dumb, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna click through it. Eventually, I got bored of it. But Star Guardians, I literally just hit skip all, because I don't give a shit about the Academy alternate universe at all that somehow Star Guardian takes place in with the Academies now. I don't know. Not my cup of tea. What do you guys think?
All right, guys. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with our next champion review, and
yes,
and we'll see you then.
Later, guys.